Welcome everyone. I have a few questions to one of each of you, and I would like to start with you, Lars-Henrik. Being a seasoned entrepreneur and advisor to angel investors, why are business incubation and business incubation important? And I have a microphone. Here you are.
Thank you. Hello. Can you hear me? Good. No, I'm very happy and pleased to see that so many are here today, and I congratulate Joel also to the excellent work, and actually the whole team. Dhruv, you've done an extraordinary job, as has Ali too. Amazing, the whole team here, as well as others, Nigel and Johan Svensson. There's been quite a few people involved in this study. I had, as a serial entrepreneur, the sense that if I would have been at Stockholm School of Economics at the time, I don't think I would have gone to the incubator myself there, because it had too much of the theoretical approach. It put in too many academically scholared people, which are great in many senses for theory, but when it comes to entrepreneurship, at least now in hindsight, I've learned that entrepreneurship is so much more than just the theories from school. And I do think that the results amazingly confirm my theory that it's more important to have active entrepreneurs or seasoned entrepreneurs or skilled specialists in many areas. It could be online marketing, it could be other sales trainings, product management training, etc. Much more hardcore, real things for entrepreneurs to take in. That I thought was the case, and it proved to be that, I think, here in the study. And I would say also that incubators are incredibly important to society and to get growth in different regions. And you, I'm sure everybody here has heard about the cluster theories, where you get companies, entrepreneurship, and universities in the region to support each other. But I do think that too many in Sweden is too far behind in that sense. So in order to get better entrepreneurial growth in Sweden, and actually the rest of Europe or the rest of the world, we need to look more carefully to the real factors behind true entrepreneurship.
Excellent, thanks. Mats, with your background both as a researcher, as a founding director for Incubator, business incubator at Chalmers, venture creation incubator at Chalmers University, what are your reflections of the UBI index?
Well, hello. Yes. First of all, I would just like to add, this is a fantastic effort done, team effort, and Joel, I'm so proud of you coming and starting all this. The perspective that I think this index will give us is really the global perspective. Incubation has been pretty much a regional thing for many countries and many regions. Many universities have had incubators now for quite a while, but they've been funded by regional money, etc. Now, the index reflects a change that I feel is very much happening right now, the much more globalized, born global kind of attitude. And also it also reflects a change which is focusing more on the talent side of universities. I mean, it's the university business incubators. That's what the index is called, right? So you think about universities. Just a few years ago, most people in countries like Sweden, politicians and others would talk about universities as being innovation and innovation hubs. Wait a minute, that's secondary. It's really people, talent, entrepreneurial talent, and the incubator of tomorrow will prove that it's focusing on that and on the team building. And the innovation, of course, then will also be brought into the equation. But I think we're right now seeing a shift where we're looking more and more and appreciating competence and entrepreneurial drive and international networking. Hopefully this index then will be part of this change from a regional and innovation-centric way of looking at it into a more globalized and talent-oriented way of looking at it.
Thank you, Matt. Dhruv, being an entrepreneur and also a researcher, deeply involved in developing UBI index, how does it feel to finally have this Nordic event?
Well, it feels great. I mean, to have all these people converge, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Good stuff.
Thanks everyone for coming.
Yeah, and what were your aims for this project?
Yeah, actually I would like to add a couple of things to what Mats said. I agree with what Mats was saying. And add a little bit more to it, yeah, we are going to move towards being the global phenomenon that he just said. But there are two other things that incubators, especially university incubators, will have to look at and do. One, they have to be entrepreneurial themselves. Okay, they are inside a university. They can't be. I know it's university, but they have to be entrepreneurial themselves. That's point one. Point two, that they have to behave as matchmakers or enablers. They have to connect. They have to be a little bit more proactive in being kind of an enabling platform. So I think if they're able to do those things, probably they'll take the incubation forward. Now, coming back to your question, which was what's the aim? Well, the aim is to take it forward. Take it forward in the sense, change the incubation practices. Change is needed, so that's why we're all here, that there is some need for change. Question we always ask is, where is the change needed? What do we change, right? And so when we've done this exercise, and good news is that we've done the hard work, okay? So when we've done this exercise, we are, at the end of it, the aim is to kind of give some actionable insights, kind of a 360-degree or a holistic view, involving not only incubators, but also involving the other stakeholders, the investors, the mentors, the coaches. So try to give a complete picture. It's like we've had small pieces of puzzle. We've been able to kind of have the whole puzzle. We're trying to solve the whole thing. It's a big undertaking, but we're on our way.
It's a big endeavor. It's very interesting findings. Lars-Henrik, if I may connect that back to you, what are the values you see in the UBI index, and what can we use it for developing the Swedish incubators?
Well, since this is created here in Stockholm, I think we're willing to be out there and show best practice more to incubators in Sweden if we can. As Dhruv mentioned here, the great thing when you create a ranking or an index or benchmark is that you give a toolkit to everyone to compare and to try to monitor, do linear optimization if you so want, and try to see what your 2 or 3 best things could be done, what the 3 best things you could do here with these results. And I think this will be hopefully, a first starting point for having workshops and get more, actually have the catalyst event here to help these incubators to develop even more. I know, so I should say that there are some great incubators, accelerators here in Sweden, and I think I'm very pleased to hear that Sting is supporting the new X-House going on here in Stockholm. Hopefully this can be a great release where it will be more professional approach to the incubators. And again, a ranking, a benchmark will help people to compare and get some kind of a guideline for the future.
Thank you. Mats, coming back to you. What do you think is the implications for the policymakers of incubators in Sweden? For example, many here are both private-public and with some public funding.
Whoa, so I think it's very good that Joel mentioned the difference between the Americas. It's really the US, to be honest, or Canada to some extent, and then the European perspective. We really need to be aware of how much we still have to do in countries like Sweden when it comes to promoting entrepreneurial learning. Our educational systems are still not doing that. It's actually a problem. We need to go much more from first class and all the way up to higher education. For me, that's the real incubator, to really have that running. Now, with the top incubators, having one of those in your university backyard will of course be a boost, hopefully for eventually for the whole region. And I envision that policymakers will put focus on performance more than we might have done. We've had a phase where we've nurtured a lot of different incubators. We need to start looking at those that work and not, so that's one policy implication. We need to have much more focus on how competence development and entrepreneurial learning is supported. So it's away from this innovation-centric view and much more focus on that. I mean, I'm at Chalmers. I don't have any problems with innovations, but I've learned that it requires entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial teams to really bring the innovations to the market. So we need to have that much at focus. I'm happy to see that the government policy in Sweden is switching more towards the individual, towards the talent, and towards the building of that kind of competency. I would encourage that to take even bigger steps. And looking at this kind of top incubators as more of an inspiration for what is required in the whole educational system, really. But we should always strive for that excellence. We need our Zlatans even in this industry, and I hope that this index will help us find that and then inspire everyone, even my kids. Okay.
Thank you. Lars-Henrik, last question for you. Being based now in Bay Area, what do you think we can do on all the Nordic business incubators? How could we cooperate more to be able to reach out globally, for example, to Silicon Valley?
Yeah. You know what? How should I put it? Yeah, I think it's really time for the Nordic incubators to get their shit together. Seriously. You know, as late as past week, I spoke to I think a great entrepreneur. I have a sense for seeing that, and he was a recent student at one of these schools in Stockholm, one of the better incubators. I shouldn't name them here, because he said, when I asked him, you know, what help did you really get there? He was failing in his efforts, and he gave me the honest truth there that they had. The coach was not really called the coach, he was called the administrator. Oh. And they got classes more into general entrepreneurship, how you run a company, how you keep books, accounting, bookkeeping, and quite a lot of the theories behind marketing, etc. And again, he didn't get any hardcore online UX training, SEO training, all those things that you need to have, nor resources to contact those who can do this. And it's too many great minds, too many great people, too many great ideas out there in the Nordic incubators that are getting lost every day when you don't start doing these things. Maybe we have the next generation of great companies out there, but we don't know them because we're not nurturing enough. And actually both incubators and some of the entrepreneurs even think that it's like VC money that they need. It's not that much anymore. It's not that expensive to start great companies anymore. It is more talent and great coaching and great mentors. So now it's the time really to raise up here in the Nordic countries and start the revolution for entrepreneurship in the real incubators out there. I think it's going to happen.
Yeah. Great, thank you very much. And that will actually conclude the first panel. And I think it was a great message shared here today, and good insights. Incubators are a tool that works, but we need to be harsh and we need to put in high demands on the operations and strategies and so on. Before you all rise up, I would like to ask you to be seated here again in half an hour, 12:30, because then we will start the next panel. So please be seated at 12:30, and let's give the panel a big round of applause.